So we have a lot to get into, kind of executive, and also in studio is Naegele, who's, by the way, what beer are you? If we're talking craft beer, and tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
What hearty piece of a glass of...
So I was snowed in, so I had to go to the closest brewery to my house all week, and Woodland Brewing Company up in Marcy. And I asked Keith if he'd like to come on the show this morning, and he said he's too busy brewing.
Okay.
But he'd be more than happy to give us some beer to try. And this is his batch 2. It's a Scotch ale. It's a wee heavy, so it's a stronger strength of Scotch ale. A lot more molasses and malty characteristics to it than
it is, and it is like a meal. Kind of
absolutely. It's a good breakfast beer. It's 8.6% alcohol.
Wow.
So it was 14 degrees when I got in my truck. I left it in the truck overnight. It's still perfectly liquid.
There's no ice crystals. Now, is that your kind of craft beer? Do you like that? Is that your?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are. I mean, I like to try as many.
That's a sipping beer with.
It's a sipping beer.
Yeah,
that one is, I would think. I mean, I don't think you want to.
What do you say,
just
Naegele?
from that one sip.
I don't know if I'm a good example.
You're not a sipper.
Just from that one sip, I could tell you that's
right.
a sipping beer. I mean, I'm just.
Naegele's not a sipper, but I love Naegele being here today because we are talking about this. And Art, I lost Art. Art had a question. I'm going to try to get his question in, and we'll get to that. But I want to start with what is one of your projections, or one of the things that you threw out there at the State of the County. Is this craft beer museum? But I want to start by saying it seems that all of this together is what will work. All the elements that you talked about. It's not just one thing.
No,
it's important for all of it to come together.
It is, and it's centered around the as I called it, the sports and entertainment district, and the work that we've done at the Aud, the growth of the Aud, the expansion, the Comets, the shows, the really rebirth over the last several years has prompted that. And with the availability of parcels around there, but also in looking at many of the establishments that are starting to pop up there between Gerber's, Taylor and the Cook, even the bakery and all the other pieces. It's like, what else would go with this? We started talking to different partners about this. And one of the areas first was the Oneidas, which we have worked with in partnership on the AHL, but also in terms of what our arrangement is at Turning Stone and beyond, and looking at what they were doing in diversifying a little bit more because of the other casinos popping up around the state. And I started having conversations with them and with Ray about, well, I know that, Utica is off reservation land, but if you're going to build another one, why not build where, we can all benefit. We can include it in
within our metro area.
So it's not just it's not just putting a casino and expecting that to be the catch-all. That's not what this is about. And just a casino, again, not restaurants, because we got great restaurants. Utica, not a hotel. I mean, clearly they'll have beverages and they'll have other things in there, but not. This is just
not to compete with what's already here. This is.
Right, more like Yellow Brick Road, if anybody's ever seen.
And the concept would be to make people stop inspire people to stop on the thruway.
Come off the thruway. They have things to do and what have. So now you have the auditorium, which is attracting. Plus you have other entities downtown in terms of the Stanley, the Munson Williams Proctor, other sculptor space, the players. I mean, there's the activities, and so now you put a casino. Now what else? And we've been kicking around, and I've had some friends that were working on some things regarding craft beer and looking at what has been happening throughout the state and really throughout the country in the expansion of craft beer and looking at, you have FX Matt here, it's how about a craft beer museum, American Craft Beer Museum, which can be beyond just the museum in itself to showcase what has been done in the beer industry, but an innovation center, an education center, a beer garden that has activities that can also encourage and expand those craft beer makers to be innovative, to expand, to educate, to allow, and to really do a variety of other things. So it's more than just a museum. It really ties everything in, and it's it's an attraction. So put them all together.
Becomes one big attraction.
We think it's really has the potential to attract to this area, because we have to have more than just the pieces that are in place now to get more people here. It's about, when we talk about all these other things in the government side of sales tax, of growth, of people, of whether it's, the loss of AMS and whether, what comes next in that. And those are all still real and have to be focused on. But
this only enhances the possibility of that.
This enhances it. And this, because at the end of the day, you want more people here.
Yeah.
And you want more people to visit here. And I think that's the only way we get them.
Naegele, what are your thoughts? So you're a beer guy.
Yeah, obviously it would tie in with what the governor's trying to do with Empire Zones, which would be bring together agriculture, education, and industry. Yeah. So with having FX Matt here and their wealth of knowledge and talent that they have over there and two-year schools right down the road, you could tie in with their culinary program, start a brewing program, and then, like you said, the Innovation Center and have something that other people can come to visit. There's a lot of certifications that people can achieve in the beer industry that, you never hear of. But, there's simple tests, and you could have a day test, similar to people go get their boating permit or their hunting permit, their pistol permit. This could be a fun sort of thing to do.
And do you see this something as people would along the thruway or say, I'm going to drive up there. I want to stop
so too.
there.
It's a challenge because the craft brew industry is so dynamic. It changes daily. There's new entrants. Old people drop out. And I think the term museum is kind of a I don't think it's a broad enough definition. I think craft beer center would be probably better. But not only that, but why focus only on craft beer? I mean, if you're going to get the baby boomers and stuff like that, what people don't realize is how closely advertising is tied into your childhoods and all those little jingles that you remember and stuff like that. I was lucky enough to be invited to Utica College a couple of times to teach a marketing class, and we went over how beer was marketed since it was in print, then to radio, then to television, and how many different modes of advertising that they use from the jingle to the recognizable character, then of course cartoon characters like the Hams Bear and Schultz and Dooley, stuff like that.
And the Schultz and Dooley played such a role in that history. I mean, which is cool. What are your thoughts?
Your beer czar
look. This is what we.
You need a beer czar. Did you say beer czar?
Beer czar.
Yeah,
that's great.
He's your guy.
Look, none of these ideas are just held in check in terms of what I believe. This is why this is a proposal that we're looking at attracting guys like Naegele and others that can come in and help us put it together. So I really respect and obviously value that that analysis of a beer center. We toyed with that because if you say innovation center, they go, well, what is that? So we tried to figure out, and that's why we talked about museum from the point of view that New York State in particular with FX Matt, West End Brewery, however, from their beginnings, and then other breweries throughout the state that were at the forefront of craft beer and just American beer in itself. And so it really became one of those things where if we showcase it as a museum and innovation center or changed, whatever, there's no patent on the name right now.
And it's interesting too that what has happened down on Varick Street.
It is
because it started out with just a few places that were down there, and then it's grown as the years have gone on.
And that's about the connectivity that I think is so important of having the district there. So once these road projects are completed in terms of the arterial and in terms of the Oriskany Street coming across. The walkways so that it's easy. What you want for all of these things, too, is for people to be able to move easier and not have to drive from one point to another or park some way out. And so the connectivity of having a district downtown where you have the whole Bag Square area tied to the sports and entertainment district in the Odd area to Varick Street on the west side. I mean, all connected with each other really, I think, can enhance the overall economics of the city and really of the county in itself.
It really has been a nice exercise in patience too. We always preach to people, you need to be patient, let these things grow organically, or else they're not going to happen at all. So 15 years ago, when I started working on Varick Street, there were 3 bars and a brewery.
Yeah.
And now when you look at it, there's a distillery, there's a Middle Eastern restaurant, 3 bars across the street from that. Across the street from that is Rogers Coffee Shop. Brand new pizzeria and entertainment venue, 2 Irish bars, a speakeasy, a pub and brewery, a country bar, all of that within 15 years, and it was all done with private investment.
Yeah, that's and so the more down there makes for a bigger crowd, which makes for more money for everybody and easier for the patrons.
And at the end of the day, I just want to say how much more marketable does that make it for that that big tenant or that big company to come in to
Okay,
that nano
so
site.
add value to bring someone in, a big corporation in, that adds value?
It adds complete value because the areas that today, especially with social media the way it is and with everybody listening in, it's about what do you have for us to do there.
Yeah,
And so when CEOs are looking at it, they're the ones making the decisions. They're managers that are going to be coming to me, either manage the site or staff the site, are going to look and say, when they're attracting, they just can't say, "Look, we got a great job for you," and then somebody's going to say, "Well, what else can I do there?" So we have a lot of great pieces. This really just, I think, expands that.
The nation builds here.
Sure.
It becomes the land goes into trust.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they certainly have the wherewithal to accomplish something really big. There's money there. I believe they have some money.
Yeah, they do.
I think they do. This is a big step from, it was just a few years ago we were arguing over whether, sales tax and all the,
Right. It is. But it does go back to the partnership about, and I think it's really interesting and really great that the Oneidas have embraced this with us to look at it by going somewhere else. I think that was one of the points. So if we can partner together and expand and grow, that only benefits them. It benefits us. It benefits
a caller
the
asking the
region.
question: what's the purpose of bringing in the Oneida Nation?
The purpose is that their ability to look. The other piece here is, gaming is a part of our industry now in New York State. It's with this governor and throughout between Schenectady, Tioga, Niagara, Mohawk, up in
it's a part
Messina.
of New York.
It's a part of New York now.
Whether you like it or not, it is.
And gambling or gaming is in every. I mean, aside from the casinos, it's in every corner store.
Every
because
bar
of
has
the lottery, the quick
thing.
draw.
We are running out of time, but I have Art in New Hartford. A quick question, Art. Be good and concise here. What's your question?
Okay, I'll be very concise. I see that the county executive is out looking for plants to replace the one that didn't come here. My question is this. We have an outfit called Mohawk Valley Edge. It has a president, a couple of vice presidents, a couple of speakers, and a bunch of clerks. They've done very little or nothing to justify the money that's being paid to them. My question is this. Why don't we terminate it and save a few bucks?
All right, Art, I'm going to hang up on you and let the county executive respond.
Well, I've looked in my state of the county. I proposed putting in a director of economic development from the county's end because I believe that we have a lot of these pieces that I'm talking about on this side as well as the industry side. Mohawk Valley Edge has done a great job. I know they get criticized. The economic development is a tough endeavor. I don't see breaking apart something. That's kind of like what they're doing with healthcare without having everything in place. I don't think you can just do that, and so I wouldn't be in favor of that at this point because we are embarking and they have been working, and I want them to keep working on the nanotechnology firm for Marcy.
This continues, gentlemen.
Yes,
thank you. Beer Museum. I'm excited.
Yes.
Executive Suites at the Odd. I'm excited about that
That's
too.
going to start soon.
Gotta go. I gotta go.